All right, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Barbara, and on this channel, starting from the bottom, is basically about my journey in regaining everything that I lost through Christ, right? I'm a baby Christian, okay? This is the beginning of my documented faith journey in retrieving all the things that I may have had previously that I no longer have via way of my choices, my ignorance, blah, 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 right? So, if you go back on my channel, we've been talking about my isolation journey and how my isolation journey has been way longer than what I expected it to be. So, I basically started a channel in order to show and gain and create a community of people who help each other ascend, right? My hope is that these videos will help you on your walk, and we can give each other tips and tricks about things that we encounter on our journey, basically just to help each other, to make it easier and to make it faster. All right. And so you feel less alone. Let's get into the message. So today the message will be talking about the change in your palette. Okay. So in the beginning of my faith journey, I was asking for, praying for, and wanting certain things that now I do not want, I do not ask for, I'm not praying about. Right. And I was talking to God about this today. He let me know that the only thing that has changed is my palette. I'm still in the same place, in the same world, in the same circumstances that I was. But the only thing that has changed over time is my palette. So for instance, there are certain things that I was struggling to get rid of. And there are things that I still struggle to this day to get rid of. But it's easier over time because the more and more I indulge in things that are not adding to my faith journey, the less I like them, the less they bring satisfaction, and the less I crave it over time. So, for instance, let's just talk about my smoking habit. I've been trying to get rid of it, and I go longer and longer periods without having to smoke or giving into the temptation of smoking. And when I backslide, the feeling of backsliding and doing smoking again curbs my craving for it. So, what God has done, because He's so gracious and He loves me so much, He has put me in a circumstances where I had to sit still, and He allowed the devil, who He uses as a worker, He allowed the devil to come in and tempt me with something. But it was really a test from Him. It was really to test how long it would take of me learning the knowledge that whatever I'm indulging in does not satisfy me before I stopped going for it, looking for satisfaction. Okay, does that make sense? God put me in a test. He put me in a giant test. He allowed the devil to come in and tempt me with something that I was going towards because it brought happiness. And he was trying to show me that that was my free will to indulge in that thing, but it was never going to get me happiness. So over time of me going towards this thing and hoping to get happiness from it, and it curbing my appetite for it, has changed my palate. Because now when I think of something that I want to satisfy me, that is not on the top of the list anymore. You feel me? But before, I thought it was going to satisfy me. It did give me some satisfaction. It did make me feel good in some type of way. But it was only temporary and lacking what I was actually craving, which was the real happiness, which was the real peace. And there's something about the peace and happiness that comes with serving God. First of all, if you know it, put it in the comments below. But there also comes there comes a peace and happiness that comes with being able to satisfy yourself without needing those other things to get it, needing anything outside of yourself to bring that happiness. And this is what God has been trying to show me, that He has put me in a period of isolation, which the period of isolation will only last as long as I need it to pass the test that He is trying to get me to pass, right? So what God has been showing me is that he has shown me things that I need to get rid of. And I wrestled back and forth with him on getting rid of it because I was using those things as a crutch. And he was showing me he cannot give himself to me. He cannot be that crutch. He cannot give me real peace and happiness if I use substitutes, okay, instead of the real thing. That's like choosing artificial instead of natural. And God gave me free will to do so, but he wanted to show me that the effects of choosing artificial things. And I wouldn't have never learned that if I didn't have the space and the time to fail and try again and fail and try again. And the only thing that changed in that time was my taste for temptation. And I'm here today to testify to you, to tell you that God has not been isolating you and tempting you with things to make you fail. It's to give you space and time to see the truth. And there's a lot of things in life that you don't even know is a temptation. You don't even know that you ultimately don't want that thing until you get what you got and realize it did not bring the happiness you were seeking. It did not bring the satisfaction that you were seeking. It did not bring the gratitude, the blessing, the energy that you were seeking, but you were programmed to think that it would. So you had to practice free will to find out that it wouldn't and couldn't. And this is what God has been showing me during this time of isolation, that none of this has been punishment, and that he is loving and gracious enough to be humiliated over and over again until I pass the test. Okay? The one thing that I learned from the Bible is that the devil loves to go after his chosen, loved, favorite human beings to show God that his humans that he loves so much is capable of sinning and turning away from him and embarrassing him. And it would make God foolish to keep loving us when we embarrass him. So that is the only way that the devil can have anything on God, is to make him look foolish for loving us. Right? But God is such a gracious and loving and eternal Lord that he will allow himself to be humiliated by loving someone so imperfect as you, in hopes that you love him enough to seek him and change your palates and be willing to change your palate. See, we can talk ourselves out of anything, but if God says, is this not for you, and you continue to indulge in it because it doesn't have any consequences, then you're unwilling to change and do for God what he is willing to do for you, which is to forgive you of sin and continue to love and bless you. So I got all of this today, and I have been shown this in hopes that I stop failing the test. God has basically used everything that I've just showed you, everything I just told you in this video, on me to show me and give me inspiration and motivation to stop failing the test. Stop giving into temptation that ultimately gives the devil a reason to go laugh at God and clown God and make God look a fool. Stop allowing temporary perks of something to make you give up on your faith journey with God, because you lose in the end and the devil is laughing. And I don't know about you, but God doesn't ask us to do a lot of things, but the one thing he has asked me to do is stop making a fool out of him. Okay? In just the way like you wouldn't go back to somebody who keeps sinning and turning away from you, who keeps cheating on you. Let's use a relationship example. You would look like a clown if you kept forgiving someone who kept cheating on you. So in our society, it is encouraged that you stop loving someone once they keep cheating on you, right? And with that type of mindset, it would be encouraged that God turns away from you if you keep sinning. But there is some of you who are begging for miracles, you're begging for blessings, begging to get closer to God, and he needs you to be able to change your palate so that you can worship him correctly and not make a fool out of him, so that you can hold on to your blessings. Because if we pass the test that he allows us to go through to tempt us, then we get to hold on to our blessings plus more. So the devil will come to God and he'll say, I can't find anybody who can resist this temptation. And God goes, why don't you test Barbara? Why don't you test viewer? See if the viewer will do it. And he says, okay. So he goes and gives you his test. And then you fail that test. And then the devil comes back and he laughs at God. He goes, look at how they fell for that. Look how I got your little chosen one, the one that you said could withstand the test to fail. But God is so gracious that sometimes we are meant to fail the first test and the second and the fifth and the sixth. But he is still giving us the chance, the opportunity, the endless opportunity to pass that test. And this is God showing that all we need is more time and love and care to pass any test. And eventually you'll make God proud, because the same test that you've been failing for over and over again, you'll pass. So I don't know if I'm making sense anymore. I don't know if I'm making sense anymore, if you're following me. But we're in a playground. It's like a schoolyard. It's like a little schoolyard. Like, this is a giant school where he is teaching the devil that reformity is possible. And he uses us, someone who is proven to be unholy, proven to be bad people, proven to be liars. Look at your Bible. It says all men are liars. It says all men are imperfect. But with Christ, we are made perfect. And this is what he's trying to show the devil, that because the devil is so hell bent on rejecting God's love and what he wants for us, he's trying to prove that God shouldn't have as much love and generosity towards us, because we're all going to do what he did. But God's trying to show him over time, yeah, we all mess up over time, but eventually we'll start to learn and see and pass the test. And then these people who are made in imperfect can be and show up perfect. But it's through forgiveness. And God's not going to forgive you for something that you keep doing over and over again. Okay? So true repentance is turning away from sin completely. True passing of the test looks like you being tempted and you knowing that it's from the devil and not giving him that satisfaction. True worship is to present yourself clean and holy, to be used as a vessel of the Lord. And in this time, he is giving us the things, he's given us everything to get the mystery out of something. Because if you think something can give you happiness and you go and you find out that it can't, there's no mystery behind it no more. You know that it can't get you what you're looking for, right? And God's trying to get us to seek and crave him like the things that we do of this world, because when we go and we find it in his kingdom, it's everlasting. So this is basically the message that I have for you today. If you want to see your blessings quicker, if you want to see change happen in your life, if you want to get out of the test and level that you're at, you're going to need to start passing tests. And the first thing you have to do to pass a test is to recognize that you're being tested. The second thing to know is that all temptation comes from the devil. There's a difference between a test and temptation. A test is something you have a chance in on succeeding. Temptation is something where you're being like manipulated into giving in to something that you wanted. Okay? So when you enter the next phase of whatever you're going through, know that it's a test. The temptation comes with a part that could ruin everything that you are walking into. So let's say you're getting a job, right? And this job comes with a certain level of freedom. Okay? The test is the freedom. The temptation is to do what you want with that freedom. Since you are being given a job, you have to produce results. But if you're free to do whatever you want to do, the results are based upon your work, right? So the test is the freedom, but the temptation is to see what you'll do in that freedom. And if you choose to do the right thing during that test and that temptation, you will pass. And you will be able to hold on to your job, plus get promoted, plus be added on too. And this is what God has been trying to show me. So I hope that I explained this in a way that you can understand. And if I did, please give me a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel and see what's coming up next. And know that I love you. Right? Know that I love you, and I'm hoping that this video motivates you and inspires you to do right by God. Peace.